Hey, we are live streaming. Woo! We have Bethany joining us. This is fun. I've got a bunch of screens open. There we go. Hi. Hello, hello.
Hey, how are you?
So good. Oh my goodness. I'm just typing in the chat what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's see if I can find your face. What a whirlwind today it's been. Whew.
Yeah, but it's been fun.
Yes, definitely. Well, hello to everyone watching. This is Living the Relational Revolution with Bethany Boring, adapting and changing and implementing the rhythms of attention in mental health settings and in childcare, children's situations as well. So, hello and welcome.
Hello. So good to see you, Hillary. I love hanging out with you.
Oh, thank you. I think we're live on Instagram and I think we're live on Facebook. I am going to try to put us in gallery view so that way people on Instagram can actually see our faces and not the corners of our screens. So let us know if you can see us better anywhere. But oh, right. So why don't we start off with a check-in as we normally do, and then we'll get started with some questions.
Yeah, sounds good.
I think I'm checking in with lots of energy, excitement. There's probably like a low grade critical part of me that's like, this isn't working. That could be, but it's just like a very low grade. And I'm pretty proud that that's not spiking higher than it normally does. So lots of energy, excitement, a little bit of criticism popping up, and absolutely thrilled to be chatting with you. It's been a while since we've been face to face.
It has. So can I ask a curious question?
Of course.
So when you say that you're excited, like what does that feel like to you? Do you notice something like in your body when you're excited?
Yeah. So normally I can tell in my heart rate increases a little bit. And then I can't focus too much on anything else other than like what I'm excited about. So heart, and then my toes are probably cold when I'm excited as well, because I think all the excitement comes up here in the energy. But I don't know if that's related or if I just need to put.
I love that though. Now I'm gonna have to check my toes. I mean, seriously, like that. I love that. That is such deep awareness. So okay. That's great. Well, I am checking in as honestly, I'm a little frazzled because I've been jumping from project today, and I've been sneaking in watching this live. So it's been hard. It's like all of my attention has been on here, but I've been doing like a little background work, but it's been good. And of course, oh my goodness, I'm excited to be here. Like I've been counting down, like I purposely stopped my last project. I'm like, oh no, we're gonna get set up. I'm so excited. I'm just waiting. And so and I'm feeling that like I'm feeling my heart rate go up. I'm feeling my brain just focused on here. I'm not sure about my toes. Let's see. Yeah, you know what? My toes are cold. So maybe you're onto something there, Hillary. I'm just saying.
Well, awesome. Thank you. You said you've been frazzled back and forth, everything. Is there anything you need right now to be here and ready for our interview?
Oh, I am ready. No, I have prepared. I have taken time to be aware with myself before I got on here, and I am like all in. I am ready to go.
Awesome. Well, I guess the first question, if you don't mind me asking, is when you discovered Loop 10 and you started to, practice and play with the rhythms, How long after did you decide that you wanted to bring this in with the children's program at the church? Like what was that
Yes.
like?
That's such a cool story. So I'm trying to think. So when I first found Luke 10, I was going through a lot of different things. I was going through mainly divorce at the time. And it was such a crazy time. It's not like I was looking for anything. And the way Luke 10 came for us is that I heard a gentleman, Mike, speak about it in the church. And going back and listening to that sermon, he only mentioned like Luke 10 like a little bit. And for some reason, I thought the whole entire message was about that. I queued in. I'm like, I am checking out this Luke 10 thing. So I checked it out. And then I remember as I was practicing the rhythms, just feeling like this isn't just something that like this is more than just something I want to be involved in.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I really want to apply at a deeper level, not only to myself, not only to my family, but I had this dream like, okay, God, I know you want me to introduce this to other people, but you can't be like, hey, you have to very much like praying, okay, God, I know this is my harvest field. I might not be the worker. Show me how to do this. And so I slowly started rolling out, checking in and getting curious with my boys. And I have 3 boys, ages 10. And y'all, I'm trying to think. Hold on. Get this right.
Ages are hard.
So old. It's crazy. So 10, almost 13, and 15.
Wow.
And so, yeah. And at the time, they were like, what, 3 or 4 years younger than that. And so they were having one day where they were like fighting like crazy. And I was like, y'all, we're going to try something Mommy's been learning about. And I sat them all there. I'm like, we're going to try to check in. And I said, so I need to stop. And I was like, and I'm checking it as, and I was angry and I was frustrated and I was sad. And the more I started speaking, I realized I'm like, wow. Like, and I saw their faces just stop. And for the first time, I think we actually saw each other.
Wow.
Like we've been living together and we've been living through all of this craziness, but we didn't know how to like check in. We didn't know how to communicate. And once we started practicing those rhythms together, the boys started realizing, well, here at church, like kids are coming from totally different, atmospheres and home lives and just the rush and school and everything. Nobody's checking in with them. Why can't we do that? And I'm like, well, so we introduced it to our adult leaders first.
Okay.
They didn't get it.
Okay.
And so we did it with the students. And I was like, and my kids literally got to teach the other student leaders how to do it. And they were just like, this is amazing. And so it ended up being the students got to really teach the adults how to check in and how to be real and how to be present. And it flipped everything on the head. And I loved it. It was messy and unpredictable. And everybody else was like, and I was like, this is so awesome. And so, but yeah, so it was a process. It was a process.
There's so much coming from that story that I didn't know. Thank you. So what I hear you saying is when you did it with your children, they felt it and said it, and they were like, we need to do this at church.
Yes.
And
yes,
you followed and helped them facilitate bringing this to their peers and their friends.
Yeah, because they mentioned it, but here's the thing too. We had these small groups. You guys, y'all know, if y'all are out there and you watch this, and Hillary, I know you know because you work with kids too and you love them. But like when small groups and you get everybody together, it's just like adults, like you have that weird moment where you're just like, I don't know how to connect deeper. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just get past all the monkeys in the room and get to the reality that there's bananas on the table. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you do that? And this was a way of cutting across and treating them like young adults, like they are. Honestly, they are. They're so much more tuned into things than I think adults give them credit for. And so my kids were like, Mom, checking in is like the easiest way of doing it. And they wanted to do it. And so I think that was the combination between like, if adults realize the importance of it, then we can show that to our kids. So what we see as important, they're going to want to invest time into too as well. And so it wasn't me like selling something. It was like, no, they saw how this worked with our family. They saw how we connected and they wanted that for their church friends and they knew we could do more. And so, yeah.
Thank you, man. Your kids are awesome. All right. So that was the first time that like, all right, we're sitting down. I'm angry. How do you feel? That was the first time. What's it like now checking in at the boarding household?
I love that. Okay, sorry. I can't laugh. This is cracking me up with the boards. Yes. Okay, sorry. So sorry, I have a little bit of energy going through my system right now.
Mhm.
So yeah, so normally what check-in looks like at our house is we still have this idea of Oreos, which is almost it's gotten out now. That word has gotten out. So we'll have people like at the church or just people that we know in our area will drop by and give us Oreos because they know that's what we do, which is great. So they get out Oreos. We usually get some milk and we just check in. And sometimes that's like, Mom, I'm feeling like, and we're like, and we got to do it. Like, is that mad? Or is that like excited? I'm like, when I'm doing that, I kind of feel mad. Is that kind of what you're feeling? And you kind of get a guess because you're like forming, because sometimes they do stuff and I'm like, I never thought about it that way, but it does, and it's like, oh my goodness. And so I just love it. I love it. So sometimes we just do that. Sometimes we do emoji check-ins because they're into that stuff. Sometimes we do like, they teach me a new word. It's not called slang anymore. What's it called? Do you know, Hillary, what the new term is now for all these new words that they make up?
I have no idea. I know slang. This is new information to me. No, I have no idea. Drop it in the chat if you know what the alternative word
that's what
for
it is.
slang
It's not
is.
slang anymore. There is a new word for this, and my boys are gonna crack up later because I can't remember it. But they teach me these new words. And Mom, it feels like, and they'll drop this word. I'm like, okay, what does it mean?
Yeah.
So it's educating their mom. So we do different ways. It's not just the normal rounds of checking in like we do. We do that too. And normally when they're wanting to do that, somebody already knows that they have a heavy check-in. And so it's just very interesting because like we just go there naturally and we're ready rather than the whole, other things. And it's just, I don't know, you don't have to use words. Like I think you get so good with checking in and attuning with other people when you don't have to use words.
So what you were describing in the beginning for those watching was the nonverbal check-in, and that like can be a check-in all in of itself, or however your nonverbal expression is facing. And then you said when they want to do it a different way, when they don't just want to talk about it, that's normally when there's something heavy. You're saying that kids have heavy emotions and they want to bring it to their mom and talk about it with their mom and their siblings. Tell me more. What is that?
Yes, right. Well, I'll be honest with you. Right before I connected with Luke 10, I read How to Talk So the Kids Will Listen, How to Listen So that Kids Will Talk, that book. I got to that point with he was preteen then, and I was like, oh no, he's shutting me out. And people told me about this and this ain't gonna happen here. And it was, imagine that. And so I tried all those methods and it kind of worked. Like I had once in a blue moon, like really good conversations, but it was like, but then this came up and we still have those moments where, and I think there's levels, like not levels, but like there's moments where kids just want to talk with that one parent or two parents, you know what I'm saying? They don't want to get their siblings involved, but there's also those moments where like, no, this is safe enough where we can share with everybody. So I think I've had those moments where my kids have all come to me at different times and told me that they need to check in. And they have those things that only I've known and I've saved with myself, like that sacred place where me, them, and God know about it. But you all, when that comes to that moment where they feel safe enough and it comes out for the first time in front of their brothers and they're not met with criticism, they're not met with the constant guy jokes and what all they do. They're met with like, just, okay, like now it's out and we can just be with it and sit with it. Wow, how is this impacting you? And then we can go, wow, how's this impacting the rest of the group? And they realize, wow, it wasn't that bad. Like I could have just shared this months ago, whatever, but it's just to hold that space and see how they've grown through that. And so, yeah, but I mean, I wish it was more, and they don't share everything and we still have our things. Trust me, we have our things, but it is nice, especially with the mom, knowing that I have boys that can come to me and tell me things.
Yeah.
And I can be with them. And I'm not going to overreact normally. I do, but I try not to.
It's natural. Thank you. So after the first, so we were talking about connecting children and checking in and listening in church, and then how that your kids kind of facilitated that conversation. And it's been about 3 years now since implementing these rhythms. Is that correct?
Yeah, I have no idea. Sure. I was thinking about that today. I'm like, my time has been so lost in all of this. But yeah, I think it has been around that amount of time.
And are your small groups at church still checking in? And is that something that they're like, what does that look like on a normal Sunday or Wednesday whenever you guys meet?
Well, we meet on Sundays and there is no normal Sunday.
Okay.
I wish there was, but we just thrown that out the window at this point. And I'll be honest with you, when we started actually doing it, because I had this idea of rolling this out slowly and doing with my adult, and it happened just kind of like I did with my kids, where we were sitting across from each other and I was in the front trying to get the kids' attention, and there was only like a group of like 20, 25. It was a lower Sunday for us. And it was just like, you could just tell there was tension and nobody was talking about it. I'm like, you guys, I'm feeling like that. And I actually did a check-in in front of them. Wow. And they were just like, and like, everybody was just like, and I was like, would you guys like to practice this checking in? And we just made the whole lesson that, like, I'm sure there was a great lesson that day. I don't remember what it was, but the kids went back. And so they were all learning. The kids and adults were all learning at the same time. And that's when I realized the adults were like, nah, like they needed more practice with it. But my kids were like, let's go. And so with that being said, it's still going. In fact, what happened is that the kids went home and started slowly, not that day. It wasn't that day. It was like weeks later because we kept on doing it. We'd go home and say, hey, Mom, I need to check in. Yeah. And she's like, what? It's like, because I didn't think about actually sharing with the parents. I think I did briefly, but then they started coming to me like, what is checking in? My kids want to share with me. And I don't know, what is this? What is this? And so I had to sit down with them and explain it and do some videos if they couldn't come in and just different things. And then out of that became a church 101 and a leader team. And so we've got 2 or 3 now here in person, plus a student leader team. Wow. All because of this whole thing started. So it's gotten a lot bigger than I could have ever imagined, but it just starts from, I need to be real. And let's face it, no, and I don't, this is a secret sometimes, and I'm at church right now, but not all, but there are Sundays you don't want to be at church, you know? And it was finally safe to say that. And I, as a leader, could say that. Yeah. And because I could say that and check in is like, I don't want to be here. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling whatever. They could feel free to say that too. And we could all be together and Jesus could really come in and do what he told us he was going to do and meet with us right where we're at. Yeah. Sorry, that was too long.
No, not long at all. Okay. So you said at one point in there, you were like, this has gotten bigger than I ever could have imagined. Tell me a little bit more on the mental health spaces and where that is growing. Because if I'm not wrong, you've been coaching and implementing this with mental health professionals.
Yes.
How did that journey start, Bethany?
Yeah, this is insane. I'm just amazed. I love how God does this. So so really long story short with all this. I have been, in and out of counseling probably since college, maybe. I mean, just a lot of stuff going on in my life. And I met some really good counselors along the way and some not so good. And so I've always been amazed with the whole counseling community and those that were going through that process, and I just loved it. And I would study it for myself, and I can do alphabet soup almost with like different modalities and stuff. And I just was fascinated with the brain. And so when I met Luke, I was like, oh, my people, emotion and brain science. So anyway, it was an amazing connection. So